Here's another real quick video on this fuel injection on this hot rod Porsche 911. Check it out. It's no secret that it takes a lot of sensors and wiring to make these EFI engines work. This is individual throttle body by Kinsler and a lot of custom components to make them work on this 911. But what we're talking about today is the sending units. So I've deleted the OEM sending unit that is normally right here. This one is here, but it's not connected. It's just kind of plugging up a hole. The new modern sensor is located back here, kind of tucked up and out of the way. It's right below this breather hose, and it's a combo sensor by Siltec. It measures oil temperature and pressure. And this is right before it goes into the bearings, which is kind of a good spot to measure it. There's not that much difference between temperature measured here at the back of the engine or at the front of the engine. The wires that used to be connected to the original OEM sender are routed through the car under this rear seat. So we can access those wires and connect them instead of the engine, we can connect them to the ECU. And my ECU just happens to be located here right behind the back seat. Engine temperature, and oil pressure is important for the ECU to be able to kind of manage this fueling strategy. The warmer the engine, the density changes and you have to add a different amount of fuel. But for instance, oil pressure doesn't really affect the fuel injection, but if you were to have a failure of the engine and you lose oil pressure, you're out of oil, the engine management could actually turn the engine off, or it can at least bring it down to idle. So you're not allowed to destroy your engine. And what I'm doing now is I'm using the output of the ECU now to command the gauges. So it's blending the old versus the new. The original sending unit was resistance-based, and the new method of sending a digital signal to the gauges is called PWM, or pulse width modulation. Most VDO gauges are set up, if you ground the gauge lead, the gauge will go up full scale. If you release the ground, it'll drop to 0. So what we're doing with PWM is we are grounding it at a frequency around 100 hertz. So it's grounding and releasing it so quickly the gauge can't move fast enough. But you can set it to something like it's grounded 10% of the time or it's grounded 90% of the time. And that'll give you full range on the needle depending on what the oil pressure is. So using the software, I can command a duty cycle to this gauge. Right now it's set to 50% duty cycle, but if I jump it up to 70, for instance, that corresponds to about maybe 30 PSI. So that's the method to control the gauge. That's 80%, more like the idle position. If I go to 45% duty cycle, that's pretty much max on the oil pressure gauge. So if I vary the duty cycle between 45 and maybe 15, that gives me a full sweep of a gauge. Now the frequency of the duty cycle is set to about 100 hertz. If I go too low, you can see the gauge will start to vibrate a little bit. If we go to 30 hertz, see the gauge becomes blurry. It's kind of bouncing. Let's try 20 hertz. It's bouncing like crazy. So we want to have it high enough where it's not going to damage the gauge, it's not going to vibrate the gauge. Nice thing about the software is we can use digital filters to kind of control how quick that gauge responds. So not only can we calibrate it, but we can filter it. Right now the engine's warm and the oil pressure is pretty well calibrated. It's showing 20 PSI on the gauge. Oil temperature here is just out of the square. If I look at the computer and compare those numbers, that is 170 kPa, and the units are different, but the oil temperature here is 77. If we rev the engine, the oil pressure will go up. Now we have working gauges. I can also use the stock idiot light for more than one thing. It'll certainly turn the light on if I have low oil pressure. It can also be programmed to do other things, like if I have low voltage, I can blink it twice. If I have low fuel pressure, I can blink it 3 times. So this becomes not only the oil light, but it's also kind of a check engine light, which is really great Got a lot of flexibility with the M-tron software. I'm loving it.